Hey guys, it's Ahava. It's about 7:50 on Friday morning. We're having guests this week, and I haven't started making Shabbos. I have babies are in a babysitting group, so I have babies here from 8 until 11. And then after that, I gotta put the house together and make all the food. So stick in for that, because we are gonna move quickly today. It's 7:55. I'm drinking my first cup of coffee. It's instant because instant is quick, and I woke up late this morning. One of the moms texted me that she was coming early, and I didn't see it until I got out of bed at 7:43, and she was supposed to come at 7:45. So it's been an interesting morning thus far. Keep you updated. It is now 8:25. I have all 4 babies here, and they are just starting their morning and having a blast. It's 11:02, the babies are gone, and now I gotta get to work. I need to clean up the living room and move all the baby stuff out. I need to cook. We gotta finish our laundry. I've got 2 loads on the table I need to fold and one that's about to go in the dryer. And then we're gonna be off to the races. It's 11:30, the dryer started, the living room is all clean, and the clothes are folded. Time to drink a second coffee and start cooking. So getting ready to start on our crockpot curry, which is going to be for lunch. We're going to serve it with rice. We like to keep our crockpot parve, which means we don't put dairy in it, we don't put meat in it. Curry is a really good choice, especially because we're not so fond of cholent. So our crockpot has like a liner, and then we use a plastic bag liner because I don't want to have to clean the crockpot so well, and it's really hard when it's cooked on. There are little tinfoil balls in the bottom of our crockpot because we hold by the opinion that if you put it all the way in, it's something called insulation or hatmana. So I'm going to show you how to make our curry. We make our own garam masala spice mix because we can't buy it here. So very excited to show you one of our favorite Shabbos dishes. So our crockpot liners call for you to put about 8 ounces of water in the bottom. I try to double that because it's going to be on for a very long time and you don't want all the water to cook out, or the bag has melted into the pot before. That's not so fun because then you also have melted plastic in your food. I'm also going to do a potato kugel because I have potatoes that need to get used up. As you can see, they're not the prettiest. For my recipe, you need, this whole potato is no good. But for my potato kugel recipe, you need 5 pounds of potatoes. So we are going to try to figure out if there are 5 pounds of good potatoes. See, this was fine. It had a little bit of growth. So we're just trimming as we go so that we get an accurate weight. And if I can get at least 2.5, I can make a half recipe. So that's 1 pound. This is one of the dangers of keeping your potatoes in a place that's out of sight. When they're out of sight, they're out of mind, and sometimes you forget about them until they're very ready to be used. I think we're going to be making a half a batch today. Because that's 2.3 pounds. 2.5, and we've got a couple left. They're really the bottom of the barrel. I might take some of those and put them in the curry just for some more texture, but we've got 2.5 pounds of potatoes. These are going to get peeled and they're going to get grated, and I am going to take out the food processor because today it's all about speed. Okay, time to peel. We got all our potatoes peeled. I'm going to cut 1 onion into quarters, and then we're going to shred. I have a Braun food processor which comes with a really cool Kugel blade, and these are all interchangeable. You can get a bunch. So I'm going to take my S blade out, throw my Kugel blade in, throw the lid back on, get cracking. It's about to get loud in here, guys. that's a whole kugel. So before we squeeze our liquid out of the potatoes and the onion, which you know if you watched my latke videos that you gotta do that, otherwise it's just not the same. We're gonna crack 3 eggs, and we're gonna heat up half a cup of oil. You could use olive oil, you could use canola, you could use avocado, whatever you want, whatever makes your heart happy. But you need half a cup. You want it to be hot so that when we mix everything and we put it in the pan, you put that hot oil in, you get a nice sizzle, and it gets everything to start really nicely. Also, you're gonna want to preheat your oven, because preheating is amazing, and it's something that I never remember to do. This calls for 375. My oven, the numbers were off, so I just guess. So today we're gonna put it on convect, and we're gonna turn it to about, there. It's about 375, I think. Always pour into measuring cups on a level surface. That is half a cup. Goes into pan. Light it. And it's on. So that'll get hot. We're gonna crack our eggs. Try not to get eggshell in there if you can avoid it. I got a little one. Something I did just overwhelmed my power. So I'm gonna go have to fix that. Yeah, so something flipped the breaker. I turned the dryer off. We're gonna beat these eggs. I'm gonna add the salt and pepper now, and then we're gonna just throw everything in. It's gonna be great. So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of salt, and it calls for like 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, so that's really just a pinch. We're gonna put in a pinch. Okay, so we have our potato and onion mixture coming out of the food processor onto a towel. So that we can squeeze out the excess liquid. Because nobody wants watery potato kugel. And you could save this potato starch. I just don't find it worth the effort. Right, and you really want to squeeze. Get as much out as you can. The more you get out, the better your kugel will be. That's about all the squeezing I have in me. Okay. Now the potatoes go in. Get as much as you can off of the towel. I'm going to mix it in with the eggs. And then because this bowl that I use to mix is not a heat-proof bowl, put it in the pan before I add the oil, because I don't want to ruin this bowl. Here's the magic happens. Is that not the most beautiful scent? And then you kind of want to like smush it down. You want it to be all one continuous Kugel. This one's not going to be very thick just because this pan normally takes a whole recipe. Kugel. It's going to go in the oven. I'll leave it in there for at least an hour and a half to let it get nice and puddingy. We've got a little bit of a mise en place set up here. We've got our chickpea tofu, because I have a soy allergy, 2 sweet potatoes, carrots, garlic, and ginger, which are the foundations of delicious food. We have our homemade garam masala. We have canned corn and canned tomatoes, coconut liquid, which is just coconut milk, peas and green beans. And this is going to be the base for our curry. We're also going to add some water just to thin things out, and I may or may not add a can of chickpeas for some little packed extra punch. Right, so there wasn't so much ginger here, that's great. So we're going to add some powdered ginger also. Get the big knife for the garlic smashing. Okay, so with these and with these, we're going to peel and then we're going to come back. Okay, so now that all the veggies are ready to break down, I'm going to chop everything. I'm going to slice the ginger and the garlic very small. These I'm going to leave in cubes. Everything's going to go in the pot. We're going to cut up the tofu. We're going to dump in the corn without the water. We're going to dump in the tomatoes and some of the veggies. Then we're going to throw spices in. I'll get back to you when it's time for spices. Okay, so in there is the sweet potato, the carrot, the tofu, and the aromatics. We're going to add some green beans, which these are whole green beans. If you want, it's really better to get the pre-cut ones. These are what we have. Next up for peas. This is a can of chopped tomatoes. And a can of corn. And this is a liter of coconut milk. I'm not gonna put the whole thing in, probably about half. Now, our garam masala has fennel, cumin, cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, some other stuff too. I'd have to look at the recipe. Pepper. You want, we do 3 or 4 scoops. I'm going to add some salt. You can add a cinnamon stick, some bay leaves, and some allspice. I'm going to leave the allspice out because it's hard to see. Almost forgot that I wanted to add some spinach. And that's basically the curry. You'll add some water based on how thick you want it, and that's it. So we have a rice cooker that you can use a cup for. So I like to make a mix of brown rice and red, which is wild rice. So I'll do 2 scoops of brown rice and 2 scoops of the red. to my rice, this is going to be a little controversial. I like to add to my rice a scoop of fake chicken soup mix and a little piece of margarine or other non-dairy butter type thing. So this is like butter-like margarine. You take a little slice, not a ton, just a little. And then you're going to fill it up to the line. There were 4 scoops, so it's going to get filled up to the 4. And then I will throw it in the rice cooker and it cooks for about an hour. Okay, so now we're going to check our lettuce so we can have a salad for Shabbos. There's 2 things here. One is the lettuce has a lot of dirt on it. And one is we want to make sure that there are no bugs because bugs are not kosher and we do not eat them. So you take it all apart. You throw either dish soap or salt in to the bowl, and then you run warm water over it, and then you let it soak. And you want to make sure that all the lettuce is under the water, because you can't make sure that the bugs go away if they're not coming into contact with the water. So you have your lettuce. We'll let it soak for anywhere from 5 or more minutes, and then we're going to check the water when we come back. Taking a short break from cooking for Shabbos to make lunch. And also, I needed a break because my back was starting to hurt, and I didn't have everything I need, so husband had to go to the store. We, Erev Shabbos, almost always make pasta for lunch. So I make him gluten pasta, I make gluten-free pasta, and we cheat and use sauce from a jar because that's just an easy thing. And actually, it's cheaper to buy the jar often than to make it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw some water in some pots, boil some pasta, and have a little snack. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to the easiest and most delicious Shabbos salad, or we would call it a salat, for the salad course in the history of the world. You need tahina, which is just sesame paste. So this doesn't work if you have a sesame allergy, but otherwise you're good to go. It separates in the container, so you mix it up a little bit and then pour a decent amount into the bowl. You're going to add lemon juice, either freshly squeezed or from a bottle. You're going to add a little bit of salt. Go easy on the salt because it's very easy to overdo it. And you can always add more salt later, but you can't take it out. And you need a little bit of water. And then you just mix it. And it does this weird thing. So first it kind of separates and goes almost gritty. And then it will come back down. See this? If you don't know, if you've never done it before, it looks like you messed up. You did it. You just got to keep mixing. And it gets nice and creamy. And this is going to be a little too thick, so you're going to add a little more water. See, it's very gritty still. That's a chemical reaction that's occurring. And that just means you got to keep thinning it out. So I'll take turns with water and lemon juice. And keep mixing until you get a nice, creamy tahina or tahini. You can also buy it in stores. But when you buy it in a container like this, it's not done. It's just starting. I don't know anybody personally that enjoys like raw sesame paste, tahina paste. See, it like loosens up and it turns into a liquid. But this is much tastier than raw sesame paste. Okay, so here we have veggies for soup. We're gonna make a soup for tonight. These are sweet potatoes, carrots. We have 2 different zucchinis, a dark one and a light one. We're gonna throw in 2 onions. Sometimes you can also add a tomato, is really nice. And this is all in a base of parve chicken soup mix. The only difference between my parve chicken soup and my real chicken soup is that my real chicken soup also has chicken in it. And I've never had a complaint. Celery is really nice in this. There was no nice celery at the store, so we're gonna do it that today. Okay, so we like to leave our veggies nice and chunky for soup. Our onions we literally just quarter, but our sweet potatoes I sliced and then cut them in half. Carrots are objectively the best part of any chicken soup. I cut mine into thick rounds, but I like them to get nice and mushy. The zucchinis just quarter and slice. That's a pot full of veggies. We're gonna boil water in the kettle and then get everything started. Okay, boiling water from the kettle into the pot. And then a healthy amount of chicken soup mix. Just keep pouring. Put a lid on it and leave it to boil and create delicious goodness. So now all we've got left as far as Shabbos prep is to prep salad veggies, put a tablecloth on, shower, and put on our fun, fantastic Shabbos clothes. And then it's gonna be Shabbos, and it's so exciting. I love Shabbos. And there's our potato kugel, nice and crispy and deliciously and puddingy. The rice is done. I'm going to put this into a tinfoil pan just so that it's easier to put on the hot plate and also to clean up after. So this is the soup after it boiled for a while. We're gonna leave it. I'm gonna put the hot plate on, and instead of being on the flame, it'll be on the hot plate until it's time to eat dinner. Okay, so what we've got here is a big challah, a little challah, and these are 3 Molino challahs that I made. They're gluten-free. There's 2 more challahs in the fridge. We need 2 whole challahs for every meal. So for tonight, that'll be these 2. And then tomorrow there will be 2 more. And these are for me because I can't eat the normal ones. So this is the setup for Shabbos. We have what's called a Shabbos timer. It's a clock that turns the outlet on and off based on the pins. We got our food on the hot plate. It's on right now. This is our potato kugel, our bread, our soup. And then over here we have the crock pot, which you'll see I have turned so that the switch cannot be reached. So you can't forget that it's Shabbos and you can't use it. We've got our salad, we got our wine, we also have grape juice, and it's almost Shabbos. All that I have left to do is turn off my phone and light some candles and bring in the Holy Shabbat.